In a world where light and shadow danced in eternal balance, there existed a sacred flame of fire so vibrant and ethereal that it pulsed with the energy of life itself. This flame, known as the Eternal Ember, was the heart of the world. It was said that its light held the collective wisdom of countless generations, the dreams of those yet to come, and the hope of every soul living under its glow. The Eternal Ember burned within the Temple of Radiance, a place hidden deep within the mountains, surrounded by shifting mists and time-worn trees. For centuries, it had been tended by Flamekeepers, guardians chosen not for their strength, but for their unwavering belief in the power of hope and wisdom. Among these keepers was Kael, a young man who had never imagined himself worthy of such a role. Kael's story began as all great tales do, not with triumph, but with doubt. He had always been an unremarkable boy from a quiet village, living a simple life among fields of golden wheat. Yet, even in his quietude, Kael harbored a deep curiosity about the world and an unshakable belief in the possibility of something greater. When the elders of the village summoned him one fateful morning, he was both bewildered and hesitant. "You have been chosen," the elders said in voices that carried both gravity and warmth. "The Eternal Ember has dimmed, and its light grows weaker. The world is losing its wisdom, its courage. You must find a way to restore it." Kael could scarcely believe their words. A simple villager tasked with saving the world's light. But the elder's eyes shone with conviction, and he knew there could be no refusal. Kael set off on his journey with only a small pack of provisions and the ceremonial staff of the Flamekeeper, a relic that glimmered faintly with the flame's waning light. His path led him through verdant forests, across vast deserts, and into the heart of ancient ruins, where the whispers of the past echoed like a haunting melody. The first trial came swiftly. In the heart of an emerald jungle, Kael encountered the Guardian of Roots, an ancient tree with branches that reached into the heavens. Its bark shimmered with glowing runes, and its voice was a deep, resonant hum. "You seek to restore the flame," the Guardian said, its words both a question and a challenge. "But do you understand its nature?" Kael hesitated. "The flame is hope, it is wisdom, it is light." The Guardian chuckled, a sound like rustling leaves. "The flame is all those things, but it is also fragile. To protect it, you must learn to protect yourself." The Guardian's challenge was one of resilience. Kael was tested by fierce storms, endless rain, and treacherous paths, each trial pushing him to his limits. When he finally emerged from the jungle, soaked but determined, the faint glow of the flame on his staff burned just a little brighter. Kael's journey then brought him to the Mirror Caverns, a labyrinth of crystalline walls that reflected not only one's physical form, but also the depths of their soul. There, he met the Sage of Reflections, a serene figure cloaked in robes of starlight. "Why do you carry the flame?" the sage asked, their voice soft yet piercing. Kael hesitated again, staring into a mirror that showed his younger self timid, unsure, yet filled with yearning. "I carry it because the world needs it." The sage smiled gently. "And why do you need it, Kael?" In the silence that followed, Kael realized the truth. The flame was not just for the world, it was for him, too. It was the light that had guided him through his doubts and fears, the warmth that had kept him moving forward when the road was darkest. The sage's challenge was one of self-awareness. As Kael navigated the maze, he faced reflections of his past failures and fears, each one forcing him to confront the parts of himself he had long ignored. When he finally emerged, the flame burned brighter still, its colors now tinged with a vivid blue, the hue of newfound understanding. The final trial awaited Kael atop the summit of Echoes, where the air was thin and the world stretched out in an endless panorama of vivid colors. Here, he encountered the Dragon of Trials, a magnificent creature whose scales shimmered. With a roar of determination, Kael raised the staff high, and the flame erupted in a burst of vivid color: gold, blue, violet, and crimson. The dragon bowed its head, its challenge complete. Kael swallowed hard. His greatest fear had always been failure, not just for himself, but for those who depended on him. The dragon's challenge was unlike anything he had faced before, a battle not of strength, but of will. The creature conjured visions of a world plunged into darkness, the flame extinguished, and Kael standing alone, powerless to stop it. But even in the face of such despair, Kael refused to yield. He reached deep within himself, drawing on every lesson he had learned: the resilience taught by the Guardian, the self-awareness gifted by the Sage, and the unyielding belief that the flame could still burn brighter. "You have come far," the dragon rumbled, its voice like thunder. "But to restore the flame, you must prove your courage. Will you face your greatest fear?" When Kael returned to the Temple of Radiance, he was no longer the unsure boy who had left his village. He was the Flamekeeper, a guardian not just of the sacred flame, but of the light within himself. The villagers, the sages, and even the creatures of the wild came to witness the restored flame, their faces alight with awe. Kael stood among them, not as a hero, but as a reminder that even the smallest spark can ignite a fire that changes the world. And so, the story of the Flamekeeper became a legend, a tale passed down through generations to inspire those who doubted their own strength. For the true lesson of Kael's journey was this: the light we seek is already within us, waiting to burn brightly if only we believe.